is the only agreement on the table. It took over a year and a half to negotiate. It has the support of 28 governments, and it's not possible to reopen any aspect of that agreement without reopening all aspects of it.
Can you really improve your deal, Prime Minister?
For weeks, the chatter in this circus has been whether she can win her argument. But Theresa May's enemies may now accuse her of losing her nerve. Laura Kunsberg, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, stay with us. We'll bring you the view from Brussels on what might happen next and how the European Union is reacting to the day's events in just a few minutes here on Newsday.
Let's now take a look at some of the day's other news, and we start with another European leader having a testing time. President Macron made a nationally televised address following a fourth weekend of violent protests in France. The demonstrators, calling themselves the Yellow Jackets, said they were motivated by the economic difficulties created by Mr. Macron's policies. He's already delayed another planned increase in the cost of fuel, and on Monday he went further, offering an increase in the minimum wage and scrapping plans to increase taxes for some low-wage pensioners.
Je prends ma part de cette responsabilité.
I take my share of the responsibility, and I'm aware that there is a feeling that I am not worried, that I have other priorities. I also know that I have caused issues for some of you with my reforms, but let me be clear tonight.
Très clair avec vous.
If I have fought to reform the political system, the bad habits, the hypocrisy, it is because I love and I have faith in this country above all else. And my legitimacy does not come from any title, any party, nor any affiliation, but from all of you, from nowhere else.
Also making news this hour, Meng Wanzhou, the executive from the Chinese tech giant Huawei, who was detained in Canada following an American request for her extradition, says she's needed medical treatment for hypertension while being held in jail. Her lawyers want her to be released on bail while she fights against extradition and are worried that her health would deteriorate further while she was incarcerated. A judge has just decided that a decision won't be made for another day. A British court has ruled that an Indian tycoon who came to the UK as his business empire collapsed can be extradited to India to stand trial. Vijay Mallya was charged with fraud after allegedly failing to repay more than $1 billion of debts. He maintains his innocence, and the British Home Secretary will now decide if he will be repatriated. This year's Nobel Peace Prize winners have collected their awards at a ceremony in Norway. Nadia Murad and Denis Mukwege were honored for their efforts to end the use of sexual violence against women as a weapon of war. Nadia was kidnapped and abused by Islamic State militants in northern Iraq, and this was her message.
Let us all unite to fight injustice and oppression. Let us raise together our voices and say no to violence, yes to peace. No to slavery, yes to freedom. No to racial discrimination, yes to equality and to human rights for all.
Researchers in Australia say they may have found a strain of coral which is able to resist rising sea temperatures. The study was carried out on a part of the Great Barrier Reef which survived bleaching caused by warmer water over 2 consecutive years. Now, officials in North Carolina say the state has experienced an entire year's snowfall in just one day. You can see the picture there on our screen. More than 300,000 people in the region lost their power supplies over the weekend. The governor of North Carolina warned that some roads were now effectively ice rinks, and there's been widespread disruption to ports as well.
Let's have more now on our main story this hour, the Brexit process. As we've been hearing, the British Prime Minister Theresa May has delayed a vote on the deal in Parliament after accepting that she had no chance of winning. Well, she says that she will now speak once again to European leaders to try to get enough change to persuade the British Parliament to back her. That might not be very easy, as our Europe editor Katja Adler reports.
EU leaders tonight are reflecting on their Brexit options, taken by surprise by the delay to the Brexit vote in Parliament. That Brexit deal is the EU's final offer, they say, but they know too the Prime Minister needs their help. Tonight, Donald Tusk, the European Council President, announced a special Brexit summit of EU leaders this Thursday. To negotiate? No, he says, to facilitate the ratification of the deal in the UK. The decision to delay the Brexit vote in Parliament, while dramatic in the UK, actually changes very little here in the EU. Of course, EU leaders want that vote to pass. They want to avoid a no-deal Brexit. So they're open now to hearing from the Prime Minister what she needs from them, up to a point. Reassurances on the backstop, that they can provide. Renegotiation, absolutely not, is the view here tonight. The EU is well aware the main sticking point in the Brexit deal is the Irish border guarantee known as the backstop, something the EU shows no sign of backing away from.
The deal is the deal. It's taken 2 years to put together. It's a fair deal for both sides. It protects, from an Irish perspective and from a British perspective, peaceful relationships on the island of Ireland.
Critics in the UK don't like the backstop because it keeps the UK tied to EU customs regulations, prevents the UK from making its own trade deals, and the UK needs the EU's go-ahead to get out of the backstop once it's triggered. Theresa May's Europe advisor Ollie Robbins was snapped arriving here in Brussels this afternoon ahead of her visit. But what is the EU prepared to give?
There will be, I think, a receptive audience for suggestions that certain aspects might need to be clarified or explained better.
Clarified but not changed?
I understand that to be the position, yes. People want this done now. It is a distraction at a time when there are many other burning issues in European politics.
Frustration is growing in some parts of the EU. Take a look at this exasperated tweet today from the European Parliament's Brexit negotiator. "I can't follow anymore," he writes. "This delay aggravates uncertainty for people and businesses. It's time they made up their mind." The EU believes a decent deal is on the table and the ball is in the UK's court. That's why it's not significantly changing position. But the threat of a no-deal Brexit that neither the Prime Minister nor the EU want looms ever larger both sides of the Channel. Katya Adler, BBC News, Brussels.
Now, a landmark in space exploration to report now, because NASA says its Voyager 2 probe has left the solar system. It was launched over 4 decades ago and has flown past Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Mission control say it is now in interstellar space, about 18 billion kilometers from Earth. The only other man-made object which has gone as far as it is its sister mission Voyager 1. Our science correspondent Victoria Gill is at NASA and sent us this update.
Both of these probes left Earth just a few days apart in 1977. So 41 years later, this particular probe, Voyager 2, has been the second object to leave what we call the heliosphere. Now, it's a little bit nuanced as to whether it's left the solar system. The scientists involved in the Voyager mission are very careful not to use that phrase, although we use it because it's left the bubble that is contained by our sun, this protective bubble of particles emitted by the sun and the magnetic field that protects us from all the cosmic rays from interstellar space. So it's now exploring the space between the stars. It's headed out into interstellar space, followed its twin Voyager 1 probe into that blackness. So it's doing just brand new science. And even though this is a 41-year-old veteran craft, this is far from the end. Susan Dodd, who's the project manager on Voyager, said that she actually hopes that both of these probes would last until 2027, keep talking to Earth for 50 years, a 50-year-long space mission, still phoning home, still picking up new signals about just what is emitted around the rest of our galaxy, all of those cosmic rays that are trying to get in through that protective bubble that our planet is contained within. So a few more years of the Voyager mission to go yet.
You're watching Newsday on the BBC. Still to come on the programme. A bittersweet pill to swallow. Singapore considers banning the sale of drinks with too much sugar.
Also ahead on the programme for you.
I am no Scrooge. I am S.K. Lou.
A Christmas Carol with an Asian twist. We find out how the pantomime is becoming more popular around the world.
John Lennon was shot at the entrance to the Dakota building in the center of New York. There's been a crowd here standing in more or less silent vigil, and the flowers have been piling up.
The 14th ceasefire of this war ended at the walls of the old city of Dubrovnik. This morning, witnesses said shells were landing every 20 seconds.
People are celebrating the passing of a man they hold responsible for hundreds of deaths and oppression. Elsewhere, people have been gathering to mourn his passing.
Imelda Marcos, the widow of the former president of the Philippines, has gone on trial in Manila. She's facing 7 charges of tax evasion. She pleaded not guilty.
The Prince and Princess of Wales are to separate. A statement from Buckingham Palace said the decision had been reached amicably.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsday on the BBC. I'm Marie Goy in Singapore.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Babita Sharma in London. Our top stories. Turmoil in Westminster as Theresa May delays a crucial vote at the last minute on her Brexit deal that she seems certain to lose.
After a 4th week of violent protests, France's President Macron promises a rise in the minimum wage, new tax concessions.
It's for Tuesday morning from around the world, and we start with the New York Times, which is reporting on the search for gifts handed out by a Malaysian fugitive. The flamboyant financier is named Joe Low, who's accused of siphoning billions from the government. The US has already tracked down a see-through grand piano, as well as works by Van Gogh and Monet. The South China Morning Post is looking into a very hands-off approach to the future of driving. It features the Prime Minister of South Korea, who went for a spin at a centre built to test self-driving vehicles. There he is. It's all part of a fake town created to simulate different driving conditions. And the Japan Times this morning is reporting on the 16-year-old figure skater who's heading to stardom. Her name is Rika Kihira. Here she is showing off her skills after winning the Grand Prix final in Vancouver. She's now in the running to represent Japan at the Winter Olympics. That's the way the papers are shaping up this morning. Marika, what's happening online?
Well, it's related to our top story, Brexit, because a British MP has landed himself in hot water by seizing the ceremonial mace in the House of Commons. Lloyd Russell Moyle from the opposition Labour Party said he was acting in protest at the way Theresa May had handled Brexit. Under the Parliament's rules, a debate has to stop if the mace is removed, and it's only ever happened twice before. It was swiftly replaced, allowing events to resume. Mr. Russell Moyle has been suspended from the House for his actions.
For many people in the UK, pantomimes are one of the best things about Christmas. If you're not familiar with them, well, they take a traditional children's story, add a bit of singing, dancing, and rather a lot of bad puns. Well, the shows are starting to prove popular around the world, but often with a local twist. As Sharon Jitlell found out in Singapore.
Bah humbug!
Sound familiar? Well, the classic tale of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol gets an Asian update by a theatre company in Singapore. Ebenezer Scrooge is recreated as S.K. Lew, a mogul who's made his fortune as an app developer bent on taking away human interaction and affection.
I am no Scrooge. I am S.K. Lew. Scrooge.
S.K. Lew is very media savvy. He's a crazy rich Asian who very aware of his social standing, about climbing the social ladder, and at every cost, at the cost of his own soul, will achieve success in his business.
The Panto's director says in addition to drawing inspiration from Asia, the production is also looking to present society and people's interconnectedness with technology.
We have on just running through the whole story the same themes that Dickens had written for Scrooge, for A Christmas Carol. But along the way, we updated the ghosts. We've Asianized some of the ghosts and brought the story forward to the 21st century. So there's lots of technology, there's multimedia. We have the audience playing with their phones and leading him on this journey of redemption.
As with every panto comedy formula, no prizes for guessing that there are plenty of gags for the grown-ups and the children, from crazy rich Asians to the latest trendy apps.
I write the app that makes the whole world sing. Don't fall for those other apps.
Well, the British pantomime is based on this tradition of taking a beloved fairy tale and turning it into family entertainment. What we've done for our audience in Singapore is to really look at the year's happenings in, in culture, socially, and politics, and we just hold up a mirror.
All around was good.
And just like any pantomime, the finale brings redemption and a happy ever after, something that transcends all cultures. Sharonjit Lail, BBC News, Singapore.
Now, the World Health Organization estimates that nearly 3 million people around the world die each year as a result of being overweight or obese. Many countries are looking to tackle the problem by encouraging healthy eating and more exercise. But here in Singapore, it could go one step further. The Ministry of Health here is starting a consultation on banning the sale of packaged drinks with a high sugar content. Well, earlier I spoke to Matt Kovac, the Executive Director of Food Industry Asia, and I asked him if the ban would be effective.
What the Singapore government's done is come up with a public consultation on a range of different measures. Of course, the ban on some sweetened beverages that are high in sugar has captured some headlines, but we would say that right now you have to look at a whole package of different measures, and perhaps a ban is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, and so that if you look at sort of different other measures that can be implemented that can really improve positive health outcomes, we would definitely advocate for those.
So tell me about those other measures that you think would be probably more effective.
Well, so right now, I think there's a couple of areas. One is definitely on the whole food innovation or reformulations are going through. So around 7 major beverage companies have already reformulated their beverage portfolios, ranging from ones that are less sugar now, right down to 0 calorie. And that's been an ongoing process for about the last year. So they're already in motion quite aggressively with reducing sugar. The other one would be also around education. There's plenty of information out there about health and diets and foods, but we need to have a stronger focus on educating, particularly children, about just in general about health and the foods that they eat.
What about advertisement of those products shown on television, online? Is that something that could be regulated?
So right now, there's a couple of markets in Asia that have regulated, but there's countries like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, the Philippines, and even India that have voluntary measures where industries actually stepped up and decided to protect children's rights, particularly those under the age of 12 or 13, not to market directly to children at peak periods when they're watching or watching TV or reading magazines or listening to radio. So industry's done quite a bit like that. And certainly in the Singapore context, where the government was very collaborative with industry, they've worked together to put in place some of these marketing restrictions to children, and it's been quite effective. So we would say we would like to continue to do that across different markets with responsible companies.
It's obviously a global problem, but which countries are facing the biggest challenge in your view, especially here in Asia?
Well, of course, North America is facing quite a big challenge, but certainly in Asia, rates of obesity and chronic diseases in places, and type 2 diabetes in places like India, China, but also Singapore and Malaysia are on the up. It is on the increase. It's a complex subject, okay? It's important that we look at having and maintaining a healthy, balanced diet, but also exercise, just to maintain our weight. And many of us are leading quite sedentary lifestyles these days, and exercise is still a fundamental part of a healthy, balanced diet.
Because you see a lot of products with less sugar kind of branding, but that's not to say that it's got no sugar and completely healthy, is it?
Well, it's a range of products, right? So those that are higher in sugar, all the way down to ones that are 0 calorie and don't have any sugar. They have natural or artificial sweeteners. So consumers do have quite a range of choice of products that they can buy. And that's up to consumers to choose which ones they want to purchase.
Now, in case you've been wondering where Rico is, he's been receiving an honour, a very special one, in his hometown of Manila. This is his star on the city's Walk of Fame being unveiled, and we are incredibly proud of him. The stars honour Filipinos who've had global success, so we're sure you'll agree Rico's place is very well deserved. He took a selfie or two in true Rico style, and in Hollywood style, he didn't forget to thank everyone.
This recognition is not mine alone, because I've worked with 3 prestigious news networks, GMA News and Public Affairs, CNBC Business News, and BBC World News. So I would like to dedicate this award as well to the men and women behind the cameras, the producers, the reporters, the writers, because without them, I wouldn't be here on stage. I would like to share this award with them.
Oh, we are so proud of him, the whole team here on Newsday. I just wonder, though, when he comes back to the office, Mariko, if he's going to be incorrigible. What do you think?
I was actually thinking, I hope he brings that award with him so that we can all take a weefy with him. But it was quite fascinating that he was really secretive. He just told me, can you fill in for me on Monday and Tuesday, without telling me what he was going home for. Now I know why.
Yeah, we do. And next time he does that, he's going to probably be collecting some other award or star because he has a huge list and the mantelpiece is absolutely full. So once again, Rico, we're so proud. Congratulations to you. You've been watching Newsday. I'm Babita Sharma in London.
And I'm Mariko Oyi in Singapore. But don't go away, because I'll be back with business news and we'll be looking at the market impact of the latest Brexit development on Asian markets as well as currency exchange rates.
And before we go, this is what a bit of scrap metal can become. Wonderful art sculptures. These are the works by Ruçhan Kiçici from Turkey, who has created more than 100 designs. He says he's also happy to work with wood when the right sort of scrap metal is not available. Quite amazing designs, aren't they? Stay with us. We're going to be back with more, of course, on our top story and the Brexit vote that didn't happen on Tuesday, that's not going ahead because Theresa May has pulled the plug on that. More on that to come. We'll be back with the headlines next. See you soon.
Hello. Well, Tuesday isn't going to bring any major changes to our weather, neither is Wednesday. It's probably from around about Thursday, Friday, and that's when things will start to change. It'll turn quite a bit colder, and the weekend is also looking interesting. At the moment, we've got just a lot of cloud across the UK. This is the satellite image from Monday into the early hours of Tuesday. A lot of cloud across the UK. There are storms out there in the Atlantic trying to come our way, but they can't because of high pressure building to the east of us, and that prevents from the weather heading our way. So effectively we've got a little bit of mild air in western parts of the UK. The colder air is in the east here, so first thing on Tuesday morning maybe a touch of frost anywhere from, say, Norwich all the way up into eastern Scotland, but Belfast and Plymouth will be quite a bit mild, around 5 to say 6 degrees. So the weather on Tuesday. Not much happens, quite a lot of cloud across the country, especially these central areas. Not absolutely everywhere. Some sunshine in Scotland. The clouds may break up a little bit further south too. And this weather front, as I said, doesn't really move much. It's because of that high pressure that's building towards the east and northeast of us. Here it is around Scandinavia, building into Europe as well, and basically when we get that pattern and it's an intense high pressure, these weather systems are kind of stuck out there in the Atlantic. They come very, very close. They sort of nibble into parts of Ireland with the stronger winds and the milder air, but they don't quite cross us. So this is the thinking for Wednesday. A lot of cloud across the UK, a low behind me trying to get in, but it can't because of the building high pressure. Maybe ahead of it, just a few dribs and drabs of rain expected in the very far west of the British Isles, but that's pretty much it. A dry day on Wednesday, often cloudy, but some sunny spells around as well. And in fact, that high pressure with its east to southeasterly winds will finally win and dominate by the time we get to Thursday, sending the colder air from Europe. So the easterly winds will increase across the UK. The temperatures will drop. Even in London, we're talking only around about 5 or 6 degrees from Thursday onwards. And with that easterly wind, it's going to feel even colder than that. In fact, temperatures will feel like they're, say, around 0 or so. So really nippy day on the way on Thursday and Friday. And then Friday night into Saturday, we actually think that the high pressure loses eventually, and then the low pressure wins. And weather fronts may bump into the colder air, so we could see a period of snow across some parts of northern Britain, but that's still a long way off, so we'll keep you posted on that. Bye-bye.
Join Simon McCoy as he brings you the top stories live.
The ball is entirely in the UK's court. We could have got our tennis correspondent to report on this.
The latest in sport.
Heaven knows how they're dealing with this on the court.
The heat or the wind? I'm not quite sure.
Well, both.
The day's weather.
It's getting colder.
And undeniable chemistry.
He's still laughing. We have to talk to each other.
There's only one Simon.
So you're the real McCoy.
Afternoon Live with Simon McCoy, weekdays at 2 p.m. on the BBC News Channel.
Stories set to shape the news agenda. Headlines freshly written. Original perspectives on the day's unfolding narratives. See the bigger picture as it emerges. The Papers, weeknights at 10:40 on the BBC News Channel.
You're watching BBC News. I'm Babita Sharma. Our top story. The British Prime Minister Theresa May has postponed the vote which she hoped would back her Brexit deal. Knowing she was likely to lose, the Prime Minister promised Parliament that she would go back to her fellow European leaders and ask for reassurances about the Northern Ireland backstop deal. But the EU has said the current deal cannot be reopened. After a fourth weekend of violent protests, France's president has promised a rise in the minimum wage and new tax concessions in an address on national television. And this story is trending at bbc.com. NASA's Voyager 2 space probe has become only the second man-made object to leave our solar system for interstellar space. The craft was launched in the 1970s with the aim of studying the outer planets. You're up to date. Stay with us. More to come. It's just gone midnight here on BBC News, and now it's time for Hard Talk.
Welcome to a special edition of Hard Talk from Oslo with me, Sarah Montague. My guests have come to the Norwegian capital to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Nadia Morad and Dr. Denis Mukwege have been jointly awarded this year's prize for their efforts to end the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war and armed conflict. Nadia Morad, from Iraq's Yazidi community, was kidnapped and repeatedly raped by so-called Islamic State. She's highlighted the issue since her escape. Dr. Mukwege is a gynecologist who's treated thousands of women and children sexually abused in the conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. What can be done to stop the use of rape as a weapon of war? Nadia Morad, Dr. Denis Mukwege, welcome to Hard Talk. Dr. Mukwege, tell us how you learned about winning the prize. I think you were in surgery, weren't you?
Exactement, j'étais au bloc opératoire. Normalement, les vendredis, j'opère et donc j'ai entendu un bruit. Je me suis posé la question, qu'est-ce qui se passait? Est-ce que c'est un incendie ou un accident? Et quand j'étais en train de me poser des questions, l'anesthésiste est venu, il m'a sauté au cou en disant vous venez d'être nommé pour le prix Nobel de la paix 2018. J'étais complètement touché et surtout ce nombre de femmes qui sont venues me prendre et chanter, danser. C'était très émouvant.
And totally surprising?
À ce moment-là, vraiment, j'étais surpris parce que je n'y avais pas pensé.
Nadia Morad, you have expressed mixed feelings on winning the prize because it changed your life so much.
اب جایزه وقتی ما بکار کری و ما تشتکش جایزه نوبل نزانی ما مجوز الرسالة كي جهين مش تشتي داعش بكاجو جنا كري تشتي ما وعائلة ما وملتي ما كري أفريا مش خورا قرتي كلا كيف زحمت بو و 3 سالة ديم هرول جهكي إجبروي كي من نديت إنه قواطع مع هجارنا تحسم إنه قواطع منها مع سكاربم في شغلي بيهتير ببم بكيبو از بكيبو مشاليا كيبو مش بر وي ارهابي دبيا ما وجنيد وكم مونداكا و نوبل نهشت افتجت هدفي داعش بجيبي وش آليا كيبا از حزين بوم اجبر اف جايزة بشتي كاركي جالكي بزحمات وبشتي تعدكا جالكي مع زنهات.
You spoke to us on Hard Talk about what happened to you in 2016. To raise awareness, you have had to keep retelling your story, which I know is difficult for you. But what is it that you say to those who don't know what happened to you?
هر جاره که از شما جهکی مدیم قصة خود گو ايش حكومة دارش جامعة راش ايش محكمة را ايش ميديا را وهر جاره که المنافس زحمت بو هر جاره که زد حسيام انه ازد حسيام بحيبه ازد حسيام بتعبه بس تشتمد بينه عالم زانبه انه او تشنا هاتي ساكن عندن بلكي ايرو ازد بيجم بس بهزارة هتانها افتعدلي تياكرن وبهزارة نبايفتن اش حيبه او حرية تاوان نبو كبا بايبن بس بيسترش ملوان تياكرن.
And what happened to you was that you were taken from your village along with many other Yazidi women, and with them you were effectively sold and raped many times.
افتش داعش بشكلكي على نيجر وقت هاتي من 2014 بيهتر 6500 كتشكو جني ازديابرن از وی وقتی بخوشکت خرابم از بداغ خرابم بکجد برای خورا بیانسته جن برای خورا ام داعش البال فرق نبو کی جنا ابزاروكا كي اتشلونا الباوان اهم بو شرف وكرامتا وانجيب بن اغتسابك وبفروشن وافتشت نا روجا كابتني يا جارة كابتني وافتشت هتانوا بحقي 3000 مستمرة.
Dr. Mukwege, you became a gynecologist and built a hospital in the Democratic Republic of Congo to help women in childbirth. But I know when you opened the doors, you had a rather different experience of the patients who was turning up. Tell us what happened.
En effet, lorsque j'avais commencé comme gynécologue obstétricien, ma vision c'était de lutter contre la mortalité maternelle qui est très élevée dans mon pays. Et donc la construction de l'hôpital c'était pour ce but. Mais la première victime que j'avais soignée à l'hôpital, qui s'était présentée, c'était une femme malheureusement qui avait subi un viol avec extrême violence puisqu'elle avait tout son appareil génital complètement en petits morceaux par une balle, une arme à feu. Et je crois que pour moi c'était la première fois, après 15 ans d'expérience comme gynécologue obstétricien, c'était la première fois que je voyais des lésions comme ça. Évidemment, je pensais que c'est un fait isolé, mais je ne pouvais pas malheureusement imaginer la suite.
And what did happen is that you were presented in the first few months with many more cases of rape.
3 mois après, je m'étais rendu compte que ce n'était pas normal. Parce que en 3 mois, donc 1999, j'avais soigné déjà 45 femmes avec la même histoire. Là, j'ai commencé quand même à comprendre qu'il y avait quelque chose d'anormal, que toutes les femmes viennent avec la même histoire, des viols collectifs avec destruction, torture portant sur l'appareil génital, j'ai compris que ce n'était pas normal.
And this was, I mean, we're talking all ages. How young was your youngest patient?
Aujourd'hui, la plus jeune a seulement 6 mois. Et les plus âgées sont des femmes qui ont au-delà de 80 ans et souvent elles ne connaissent même pas leur âge tellement elles sont âgées et quand elles sont nées, il n'y avait pas d'état civil. Donc je crois que c'est tous les âges. Il n'y a pas... je crois que là, je voulais vraiment attirer l'attention. Ce n'est pas sexuel, c'est une stratégie de destruction. Puisque quand vous voyez les personnes qu'ils prennent, ça n'a rien à voir avec le sexe.
So it is a result of war, is it? It's not everyday violence?
Non, ce n'est pas une violence habituelle. C'est vraiment un viol comme stratégie de guerre, un viol comme terrorisme, un acte de terrorisme.
You've likened it to biological warfare. In what, and you talked about it as an extermination tactic. Can you explain what you mean?
Vous savez que lorsque on attaque l'homme au niveau de l'appareil génital de la femme, ça veut dire tout simplement on attaque l'homme là où il vient. Ça, c'est d'abord quelque chose de... c'est très quelque chose qu'il faut comprendre. Mais lorsqu'on le fait en public, collectivement, avec torture, on traumatise non seulement la victime, mais on traumatise également toute la population qui voit ça. Et en fait, ce traumatisme entraîne souvent que les gens ils perdent la confiance en eux-mêmes. La tendance est de fuir. Donc, il y a un déplacement massif de la population. Lorsqu'on tire dans l'appareil génital, lorsqu'on est violé par plusieurs personnes à la fois, il y a les infections, il y a la destruction de l'appareil génital. Donc, on détruit la capacité de la femme de reproduire, de donner d'autres enfants après. En détruisant une personne, vous empêchez plusieurs personnes de venir en vie. Et à la fin, la femme porte la société sur ses épaules. Dans ma communauté, ce sont les femmes qui portent même l'économie. Lorsque vous les rendez malades, donc vous détruisez l'économie de la communauté. Résultat, c'est que vous avez les mêmes conséquences que les armes classiques, mais malheureusement ici, ça va se transmettre sur des générations à venir. Le VIH peut aller d'une génération à une autre, le traumatisme psychologique peut aller d'une génération à une autre, et donc la transmission peut se faire verticalement, mais aussi transversalement. Et donc c'est la gravité de cette arme.
You've described rape as the least of what these women suffer because of the consequences of it. Do you think it is a deliberate military tactic, that it is actually sanctioned from the senior levels?
On a beaucoup de cas de témoignages où en fait les femmes témoignent comment les chefs militaires décident ce qu'il va faire des femmes. Ça, c'est du côté des victimes. Mais également, on a des soldats qui ont commis ces actes et qui témoignent qu'ils ont eu l'ordre du chef pour commettre ces actes. Je crois que la troisième chose, c'est que lorsque vous faites la même chose, vous ne pouvez pas le faire sans qu'il y ait une planification. Donc vous l'avez fait puisque vous avez planifié de le faire. Et enfin, je crois qu'il faut regarder les types de lésions. Lorsqu'elles sont le même type de lésions, ça veut dire qu'il y a quand même une attente pour faire ces choses. Nous avions même observé que des groupes différents commettaient les actes exactement les mêmes dans le groupe.
Dr. Mukwege is talking about rape as a weapon of war. Did it feel like warfare to you when you and the other Yazidi women were taken?
أكيد أفتشتكي داعش وساكر شروجها بريدة كجنقرنا سلاحك أحربي وفي تشتي وكي إخويابو وهر إرهابك نبز داعش وقتي جروبات إرهابي اتجهناك دي مجني بين كسلاحك حربي شخورة.
When you consider how it can be stopped, it's recognized in international law as a crime against humanity. What more do you think can be done to stop it? Does it come down to enforcing those laws?
أزبجم ومتبينين إنه هذا عدالتنا به أفتشنا يا سكنان وأفيك سقمت إنه هدفي ما همك وحلمي ما همك ضحية إنه عدالة شمر بيداني إجبر هر جارك وقت داعش هادي داعش زاني وكشتنو زاني هاد بو كشتني بكا وهاد اغتصابي بكا وهاد بو دماركي بكا بس وقت عدالة هبه انه اموان ببينن ام نزان كي داعش هات يا كشتن ام نزانن كي بازايا ام نزانن كي نو هي حرة بس وقت عدالة هبه ام بينن انه افتشنا كرراندن اجبار ارهابي ديول وان نيري اويد بين ببناء ارهاب واويد بين جريمة بجنابكن وبينن انه البيشوان شونا محكمة وعدالة هذا حققاندن جاءوا باج تهر.
Do you ever expect to see the men who raped you in court?
عملهم هيا بس تهيماني زيك نادية بس تشتم المات كبير تشتي ام ما وكم ما قوتش عالم ما جهاند ما جريمة وان جهاندن إنه هالبا عالمين مينه إنه عدالتش ما حق.
Dr. Mukwege, apart from enforcing laws, there is also a problem within society, isn't there, which is that there's still a stigma attached to women who have been raped, attached to the victims rather than the perpetrators.
Je crois qu'effectivement, lorsque dans la société l'impunité est totale, ceux qui commettent les viols, ils se comportent finalement comme des seigneurs, ils se comportent comme ils ont le droit sur le corps des femmes. Et je pense que la seule façon, il faut absolument avoir une justice qui permet de transférer cette discrimination de la femme, de la victime, vers plutôt celui qui a commis les crimes. Aujourd'hui, nous avons du mal vraiment à avoir ces transferts puisque les femmes sont obligées à garder le silence par rapport aux crimes qu'elles subissent.
So you think there is total impunity for rapists in your country?
Il y a tout simplement 2 mois, j'étais avec, 2 ans, j'étais avec une journaliste qui voulait voir qu'est-ce qui est devenu l'hôpital où j'ai travaillé et où la guerre avait commencé. Et quand elle voulait faire son reportage, les femmes ont dit, voilà, le commandant militaire qui est là, c'est celui qui nous a violés, c'est celui qui a tué nos maris, c'est celui qui a tué nos filles. Et donc vous venez faire le reportage, après votre départ, nous on va subir encore sa loi. Et je pense que lorsqu'on a des situations comme ça, où les gros poissons sont laissés libres, on ne peut pas parler vraiment de la lutte contre l'impunité. Il faut absolument que les criminels puissent répondre de leurs actes. Si le pays ne peut pas le faire, le droit international devrait le faire. On a normalement des institutions qui devraient s'occuper des questions comme ça. Mais aujourd'hui, on a l'impression que les victimes sont abandonnées à leur propre sort.
Why do you think the world haven't acted? You describe it as the worst form of terrorism. Why do you think there hasn't been any external pressure or action?
Ça, c'est une bonne question. Pendant très longtemps, je me posais la question, est-ce que si les hommes subissaient ce que les femmes subissent, est-ce que le monde serait aussi silencieux qu'il est? Et c'est vrai que il y a toujours une discrimination. Il faut que nous ayons le courage d'accepter que nous n'acceptons pas encore l'égalité hommes et femmes. Et donc la souffrance de la femme, elle est souvent reléguée au second plan. Et je vais juste vous donner un exemple. J'avais eu un monsieur qui avait été violé et après l'avoir violée, ils ont coupé son sexe. J'ai eu plein de journalistes qui voulaient l'interroger, qui trouvaient que c'est pas normal, ils s'indignaient très fort. Et moi, ça m'avait un tout petit peu choqué, puisque j'avais des milliers de femmes qui avaient des blessures génitales terribles. Mais ça, à la limite, ça passait dans le concept. Mais lorsque on ampute le pénis d'un homme, les gens ont l'impression que c'est plus dramatique que la destruction qu'on fait sur les femmes. Je pense que nous devons lutter pour l'égalité pendant la période de paix.
Nadia Murad, at the end of our interview, our last interview in 2016, you said, "I ask the world to do something for us." Do you feel that they did enough?
إنه هاجي أزت بش مع عالم تشتكيش مرة بكن. إنه هاجي زت بش مع عالم تشتكي بكن إنه أم خلاصنا بن. إجبر أو إرهاب، إجبر أو فكرة متطرف، جالك معايا وهكا حمايتنا هاتا كرين، هكا عدالتنا هاتا حقق عندن. يجنزاني وتشتكنجي ويكرري.
But for the Yazidi people as well, because you have managed to get asylum, but there are still hundreds of thousands of Yazidis in refugee camps. Is there more that should be done?
أكيد هكا إيرو شنقال هاد با حماية كرين أو خلقي بقرية هكا إيرو صحة وتعليم وآب وكهرب هابا إيرو شنقال خلقي بقرية 450,000 خلقي شنقال إيرو بس 6,000 بقرية شنقال أو 6,000 جي الوضع كي قالك بزحمة يبي خدمات نزانن كي روجي حياتهم تشلود به تشتني هاتيا كرين قالك مساعدة كمازن بوجبا حكومة فرنسا إذا كرنا عبوا الشنغالي بتشتكي قالك باجبو بشتي يكشف كرنا 6 مقبرة جماعي الشنغادا فريق UN نهاتشوا ودري وبلكي زو دس بي بكا انوان مقبرات توثيق بكا بس هر امت حوجي خدمات انا وآبا كرنا شنغالن جسي 250,000 يزدي مخيماتها جماعت.
Can you ever imagine going home?
وقت عدالتها بحمايتها بقى نا وقت يقدر كبي ونا وقت وسا إرهابي لازم أمدبش جها بردن لازم أمدبش شنغال بردن ودبش كونغو سوريا يمن هر جهة كي إجبر إرهاب لازم أم إرهاب دارينن وعدالتي بحققينن وأم بقرنا جهد خوا.
Dr. Mukwege, how realistic is it to think that there can be anything put in place that can stop this?
Je crois que dans les conflits armés, les gens ils se battent pour gagner la guerre. Et s'ils gagnent la guerre, c'est pour diriger. Et ils dirigent, c'est dans le monde. Je pense que si c'est celui qui gagne la guerre en utilisant le viol comme arme de guerre, après, il est refusé de sortir de son pays. Il ne peut pas placer son argent à l'extérieur de son pays. Il ne peut pas faire les affaires, le commerce avec les autres pays. Il est sous sanction puisqu'il a fait ça. Je crois que tout seigneur de guerre ou quelqu'un qui fait la guerre va commencer à se poser la question, je vais gagner la guerre, mais je vais quand même jouir du fait d'avoir gagné la guerre. Mais si aujourd'hui on leur déroule les tapis rouges, ils ont le sentiment que c'est une arme comme les autres. Il faut absolument, au lieu d'un tapis rouge, il faut une ligne rouge pour que toute personne comprenne que aller au-delà de cette ligne rouge en utilisant le viol comme arme de guerre, le monde ne pourra jamais accepter. Je pense que nous avons la capacité de le faire si nous avons la volonté politique.
Nadia Murad, I know you've expressed frustration because you've said in the past, I don't want any more expressions of sympathy. I want world leaders to act. Do you think that having the Nobel Peace Prize now will make any difference?
عملي منا إنه نوبل تشتكي قالك إمازنا كاربن أم كأسكارم بريا نوبل بيتر دليل برما ببن إيد مساعدة فعلي سالي شوين قالك حس ماكر قالك تعاطف مدي قالك قالك اقو امت عاجز ونج برجتي ورا بس ما فعل ندي شويك املي ما انه برا نوبل انه اسفع لا ام ببينن ايش خلقي راء والشنقال والهرجاك.
Can I ask you both, can you see a point at which there will be an end